Zane Clodfelter with Matthew Willits, our OttersTV series wrap-up. Preston Leinenbach elsewhere on assignment, and we're wrapping up a series where Evansville, surprisingly I think for a lot of people, dropped 2 out of 3.
Yeah, you say surprisingly for a lot of people. It's not surprising for me. Diving into this team we're going to see from Florence, they're a team that came into the series losers of 10 straight games, but you couldn't let that alter the way you thought of this team. Of those 10 losses, 6 of them were by 1 run or less, or on 1 run, obviously. So they keep games close. They have Anthony Brocato and Brennan Price, 2 very good hitters. They've just ended up on the bad side of a couple of games, and they proved this weekend why they are a team in the West Division that you still have to keep worried about.
No, and the Otters know Florence very well. They made the playoffs last year as the champion of their respective division, and Brennan Price, you mentioned him, it's not very often you see a third baseman that is listed as 6'9", 300 pounds. He towered over everybody.
Yeah, and he uses that height to really work on his power as well. Not a guy that hits a ton of home runs, but instead makes it count with the RBIs. He's in the top 10 of the league, as is Anthony Brocato, and that 1-2 punch punished the Otters this weekend, and it's done it to a lot of teams this year.
You mentioned the 10-game losing streak coming into the series. The Otters were able to extend that to 11 games on Friday. What worked so well for Evansville on that series opener?
I think first of all it was Justin Watland pitching well in the game, setting the table for the Otters nicely, and then it was the small ball that returned once again, getting runs here and there little by little. And then I don't want to say the rain delay helped the Otters, but it certainly made it nicer that they didn't have to play the 9th inning. Logan Sawyer is probably one of the best closers in all of Frontier, or obviously the Frontier League, but all of independent baseball. And so he probably could have gotten things done, but you don't even have to worry about it with the rain-shortened game. They won that first game because of the starting pitching, and then on Saturday it was the starting pitching that carried them a long way into that game.
Yeah, no, you mentioned the Friday game, and yeah, maybe a blessing for Evansville. Logan Sawyer had been announced the moment he started throwing some warm-up tosses to start that 9th inning. Of course, the heavy rains came, and by virtue of just standing water in the field, weren't able to complete that. But then we mentioned how Florence had an 11-game losing streak. They now end the series with a 2-game winning streak, and that's because they were able to take advantage of just some simple mistakes.
Yeah, Saturday was pretty simple. Brett Adcock had one of the best games we've seen all year from an Evansville pitcher. Set the record for 2022 starting pitching strikeouts with 14, just 2 shy of the Evansville all-time record. And then in the 6th inning, 1 error hurt him. Anthony Torrales misplayed a ball at third trying to play a double play, and it just started concaving from there. 4 runs scored in the inning, and Florence never looked back. They did the same thing to Jake Polancic in relief, as George Khalil had an error go against him, and of all 7 runs they scored on Saturday night, none of them were earned, and those 2 errors really killed the Otters.
No, and it was surprising too, because then something else, you mentioned the Torrales error, but then the decision not to throw to second base allows the other runner then to move from first to second, and then right after that there would have been a ground ball that also would have been an ending double play there, and just missed opportunities for Evansville.
Yeah, and those are the learning moments you have, obviously. This is a very good defensive team. Anthony Torrales, George Khalil, Andy Armstrong, and either Bierman or Sinsley, whoever's at first any given night, are some of the best defenders in the entire Frontier League. Even the best defenders are bound to have nights that they struggle. And one bad play for one of these guys is what doomed the Otters on Saturday. It was sad to see Brett Adcock have such a great performance and not be able to get the win.
I mean, he was working so quickly. It was a great pace. It was a Zane Clodfelter type game for most of it, just because of how efficient he really was in terms of throwing strikes.
Yeah, he proved why he was an early round draft pick, why he spent so much time in affiliated baseball, why he doesn't need to rely on the fastball to get him through innings. It was the off speed that really worked well for him. Again, really upset that he wasn't able to get the results in that one, and I'm sure he'll be looking forward to the series next weekend against Washington when he should get his next start.
And real quick, the finale, Axel Johnson had a 3-run home run, and then Brian Flette added with a bases-clearing double later in the game, and a 6-2 lead turned into an 8-3 victory.
Yeah, the game on Sunday felt out of the Otters' hands from the 2nd inning on. They scored the first run in the 1st inning, and it felt, okay, maybe the Otters have got something going their way. And I remember turning to my partner Bill and saying, well, we're not going to get shut out tonight. We know that for sure. But then a 3-run home run there in the 2nd, Florence didn't look back. And that's a team that once they get some positive momentum behind them, their pitching gets really good, their batting gets really good, and as an opposing hitter, you're just struggling.
Good news for Evansville is Washington also on Sunday lost, so the Otters will enter the new series in Schaumburg this week just down one game in that West Division. 3 games on the road in Schaumburg. We just saw Schaumburg and Tim Calderwood, but now the Otters will go there. Matthew Will actually will be going to Wintrust Field, correct?
Yeah,
Wintrust?
yeah, and I'm disappointed that these are the last 3 games against Schaumburg this year. That's been a fun game rivalry that we've had in the 5 games they've played. Every game's been close. Everyone's been competitive. Starting pitchers have been really good. So the fact that they're only playing 8 games and it's done before the All-Star break even happens is upsetting. And I hope we get to see Tim and the Boomers in the playoffs at some point.
Yeah, that'd be great. And then after that 3-game series, the Otters are back for what will end up being, I think, a really big series as we look down the road. The Washington Wild Things will make their first appearance in Evansville starting Friday. It's a girls' night out with the Deaconess Women's Hospital. 44 News and other friends are going to be at the ballpark as well.
Yeah, it's going to be nice to get to see Washington for the first time this year, home or on the road. Should be fun on Friday night, and then 44 News is going to stick around with State Farm on Saturday for Star Wars night. I believe that there's going to be jersey auctions too.
There is the Arc of Evansville here as well. And then a not a Senior Connection Sunday, but it's a
Astound Dog Days.
Astound Dog Days of Summer. See, we practiced. That's a 5:05 first pitch time for that finale.
Yep, and this was the first Sunday. I feel like we actually had a lot of four-legged friends join us at the ballpark.
We could hear the barking all game.
It was nice to see them all in attendance tonight.
And real quick, while the Otters are on the road, there is a USSSA softball game Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So as Matthew Willis in Schaumburg broadcasting those games for Otters Digital Network, we'll be here at the ballpark for USSSA softball. And tickets for that softball series and then the weekend series with Evansville and Washington still on sale right now at EvansvilleOtters.com. Big thank you to Mr. Russ for recording. He's Matthew Will. Zane Clodfelter. This has been Otters TV.